as someone who creates content, tells stories, and refuses to let another generation of men step into fatherhood or being a husband confused and kind of like, oh, y'all ain't tell me it was like this. No, I told you exactly what it was, right? And so I've given you access that would cost you a lot of discomfort. Well, it would cost you your comfort in order to get this close to a lot of families, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so we've given you so much access. You know, I expect you to buy the book because I've paid the currency of your curiosity. No, I want access to him, and this may be a backstage pass for a lifetime for him and I to connect over a sport that I don't necessarily like to connect. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
likes it, so then I'll like it because he likes it. This is an invitation. Are you going to accept it? And that was kind of the thing, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and it has paid dividends.
Nobody can argue with how you show up for your kids. And I love how your book's entitled. It's entitled Father Yourself. So it's not father your kids, it's father yourself
Self
first.
first, right?
And I think in a lot of us, and I resonate with the whole, like, I lowered my expectations. I did that so that my expectations are now where you can't really bother me.
You can't hurt me.
You can't hurt me no more. But a big part of fathering myself has been going back and
I go, well, look, the best we could do is be friends.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
okay, yeah,
I'm not gonna cry on your shoulder. I'm not gonna call you for help or anything like that. Like the best we could do is be friends. And if you need me, I got you. But I don't need anything from you. And the thing you're working toward now is having a relationship with your grandchildren because they
yeah.
access to them comes through me. Right.
Right, 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 for sure,
So what do
for
you
sure.
want out of this relationship?
Hey, welcome to God's Glory and Men's Real Stories. Whether this is your first time joining us or you've been here from the start, I'm grateful you're here. I want you to look at this as a safe space for real stories, real conversations, and stories that range from the struggles we see to the healing and the hope that we find in God. No matter what your journey looks like, know that it matters. You matter, and your story isn't over. But before we get going, listen, I need you to do something really quick. If you're watching on YouTube, I need you to go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Just don't do it for me, do it for my guest today. And no matter where you're watching or listening, I want you to subscribe now so you never miss an episode. But do this, don't keep these conversations and these episodes to yourself. I want you to share it with somebody. Share it with somebody that you thought about as you were listening. Share it with somebody that you didn't even need to listen and you just knew they needed to listen. Share it with them. Forward it over to them now. Know that they will get something out of this just as much as you will today. So I'm excited about it. So let's jump in there. Today's guest is someone a lot of dads already feel like they know, even if they've never met him in person. He's proof that masculinity doesn't disappear when you step into your home. It actually gets refined there. He's the author of Father Yourself, the first creative force behind the YouTube channel Belief in Fatherhood, and a man who somehow turned everyday fatherhood moments into a masterclass in presence, patience, and literally showing up. So, whether you're watching this video, reading his book, or you just now started to figure out how to be a better man and father one day, and all the time that you've spent as you continue to like process whether, hey, look, will I be a good father? Will I, am I doing this thing right? I'm excited about the conversation I'm about to have with him. So I'm really honored to welcome our brother, Glenn Henry, to the episode. What's
Thank you
going on,
so
bro?
much. Man, I'm doing great. Bro. Thank you for having me, bro.
It's truly an honor because I'm one of those guys who like Glenn, man, I know Believe. Like, come on, man. We all know him. I be commenting every once in
Yeah,
a while, he'll write back like good stuff. And I'm like, see, I told you I know him. Like
yeah, we locked in.
we bros. Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes that's as far as we get to the people who we resonate with so much, but
Yes.
but it matters. Like when you guys say, "Bro, I see you," or "Bro, I appreciate that," or when you were preparing for your book to come out, hey man, that's good stuff. But have you bought the book though?
Yeah.
I loved how you hit me with that. You're right. It's on pre-order already, bro. Like
Yeah.
we good. We locked in. We ready for that.
Oh
But
yeah,
but
man.
but I think that sometimes it takes that. It takes that.
Yeah, man. I like to make sure that as someone who creates content, tells stories, and refuses to let another generation of men step into fatherhood or being a husband confused and kind of like, oh, y'all ain't tell me it was like this. No, I told you exactly what it was, right? And so I've given you access that would cost you a lot of discomfort. Well, it will cost you your comfort in order to get this close to a lot of families, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so we've given you so much access. You know, I expect you to buy the book because I've paid the currency of your curiosity. Um,
Ooh, that's
I've
good.
made
Wow.
mistakes so you didn't have to, right?
Yeah.
And I showed it and documented, and it cost me something. So I expect you to buy the book. It's worth it. Um,
Yeah. No, for
and and
sure.
and it's cost me a lot to tell those stories.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And I think the beauty of the stories is that as you lean in and you read, a lot of the stories, I'll put it this way. You're the first man to ever admit to me through a chapter of your book and a title in your book that made me feel no longer alone. It made me feel seen and validated. And that was that they will throw up in your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I say that thinking that like ain't nobody ever experienced this. But when
Uh-huh.
I say that, I speak of my first child, my son, who I felt like nothing could get more disgusting than what you have just done to me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm glad that we are just here together and nobody else witnessed this. But
Yeah.
but it was that where I sat there and I read that chapter. I was like, so I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, man.
telling me that there's more of y'all out here that has happened to.
Yeah, bro. Like, not only that, like, they will violate you in ways you didn't even know was possible, right? And it's crazy how, like, God made the babies so uncontrollable. Like, they can't even control their neck. So you got to support them in every way, only for them to violate you physically and then later on emotionally until they get to a point where it's kind of like, now you have me right where you want me, right in the palm of your hand, and now I'm gonna break your heart, right? It's here and there with just little sly comments and little activities, and it's kind of like, you know what, I don't care nothing about what you do. Like, you actually have to grow a thicker skin, you know um and in loving someone into completion, right? Like, that whole journey,
Mm,
it's just crazy how we are set up. And I don't know if we have heard that story in fatherhood as much as we should. Like, there have been fathers, since the beginning of time. And I don't know if we really know what men are thinking. You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
No, yeah. And I'll say, and because we don't know what they're thinking, sometimes we believe that their lack of processing through these stories, sharing these moments, we feel like a lot of them are absent or just not in touch with what's going on. They're showing up, they're doing this thing where I brought home a check, I came home, I sat down in my chair, and I kind of just wanted peace and quiet. And so when I don't hear these stories, when I don't resonate with what I'm seeing or experiencing at home through the stories of other men, where I sit with them and say, bro, is anybody else like experiencing this with their daughters? Where like she's gotten really quiet. She went from like telling me, I mean, like back then I couldn't get her to stop talking. And now she's just kind of gotten really quiet. And I can't tell what she's thinking. And I'm worried that maybe I've said something or done something wrong. So I find myself constantly saying, hey, is everything okay? Yeah, no, I'm good. Okay, well, you wanna tell me a funny story from school? No, it was just a normal day today, Dad. Okay, well, all right, well, like, well, I'm here if you wanna talk about some things. And for a lot of us, as you said, you talked about this in your book, where we're having to let go of the person that we knew to learn this new person who may not be as forthcoming and they may not feel as comfortable about sharing the things that are going on in their life now, because maybe there's They're still processing through it themselves. Maybe they don't know how to share these moments, or maybe we're not asking the right questions, as I've learned. Um, and I think as I read your book, it it kind of hit on a lot of those things of like, I'm learning versions of my kids that maybe I felt like that I never got to know about myself. So
Yeah.
when I read like Father Yourself, like, okay, maybe that's an opportunity for me to go back and be like, well, what did you need in those moments where you didn't really know what to say or how to even begin the conversation? What did you need? And it was like, well, I personally I felt like I didn't need my parent to over exaggerate the situation and make it bigger than what it was, but I just wanted them to listen and like maybe validate the fact that I'm not crazy, because I feel crazy right now. Like I feel
Mhm.
like what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing, um, it's not fair, or whatever the case may be. So when it came to you, tell me like, and I know how does your oldest son right now?
12. He'll be
12.
13
Okay.
next month.
Right. So you said that you're in that preteen age, preteen era as you learn your kids. What has probably been one of the, I guess, most challenging parts about preparing for what I guess what their next journey is, what their next stage is as far as teenage years, based on what you've heard?
Yeah, I think, how old is your oldest?
So my oldest is 17,
And then and how old is your daughter?
16, or no, she just turned 14. So
Okay.
17, 14, and then 6.
All right. So, there's a lot of, theories and rumors. And this is where dads almost talk the most, right? So they were like, yeah, the teenage years are crazy and prepare yourself for horror and they'll never be the same and they're gross and disgusting and they stink. They talk back and they always got an attitude, puberty, right? So you got all that stuff. And
Yes, no lies.
right. So all that stuff I know is coming. And so because I am such a tapped in father, right? And this is one because like you guys may have seen stuff on the YouTube channel, but I see the unedited clips.
Oh
So
yeah,
I I can recognize the difference in who's talking by looking at a WAV file on a screen
yeah, you should
because
have. Yeah.
I've studied their wave patterns. I know who's talking. My wife, because we stay at home, we work from home. So we're with them all the time. I know who's breathing next to me. I know everything. So I can sense a difference in a change in an attitude, in the temperature. Like you sometimes you be home, you're like, man, I know I set the thermostat at 63, but it feel like 64. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how much I can tell a
Mm.
change in the house.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm recognizing the fight for independence and uh it's a change in the wind, right? There's a
yeah, yeah,
little bit
yeah.
more quietness, there's a little bit more sneakiness there is something happening and I have to let him know that I love him who he is and who he's becoming
Yeah,
and my hope is that he would still allow me to guide him because his brain and his body is changing.
for
Um
sure.
and so I guess I'm preparing uh I'm preparing for change. Uh but I'm really hoping that I can hold on to the memories without like forcing him to be that same person.
That's
There's
good.
just so
Yeah.
much, man, there is so much changing happening because like he'll say something and I'll just look at my wife and then we'll be like, oh, we'll just, okay, we'll go, "Yeah, you did that, you know what I'm saying? And we just start,
Right, right, right.
we go
Wait a
ahead and
minute, we
start
already here?
clamoring.
What right,
Yeah, we
right.
already clamoring, right? And so because we notice it, um, we have to be even more on top of it. Like, so one thing that I've noticed on my son is that, him and my daughter, and they have challenge getting along. But he's the
Mhm.
oldest, so he sets the tone. And so, you know, I'm very much on him about, him talking about his sister's appearance in any way that is not positive, right? Because
Sure.
it creates a complex. And then also,
Sure.
I have to teach him, hey, we don't talk about women's appearance. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't talk about them unless, if you're going to give a critique, make sure it comes after 150 compliments in one day. And you won't get those
Mhm.
off. So you don't even give a critique. You know what I'm saying? Like the mirror
Yeah,
is already giving her enough. The world is already giving her enough. Don't talk
for
about
sure.
it. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
And so those are lessons that I have to teach him and I have to be on top of it. Um,
Mm, it's
it,
good.
it's really difficult because at any moment I feel like I'm doing too much. So if I correct him and he doesn't receive it in love, I'm like, dang, man, was I too hard on him? Nah, I wasn't too hard on him. Nah, you did fine. Nah, you were tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like it's over and over, and I won't know until like 3 days later when he's like, I'm sorry. It's all right, man. We don't make mistakes. It's all right. Okay. I wasn't too hard on him. How can I get him to turn around faster? So it's just always like touch and go.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that level
yeah.
of parenting is privilege because not every dad has the
Yeah.
time to do all that. You know what I'm saying?
100%. For
So,
sure.
and they're homeschooled, so they're not even in school getting outside resources of influence. Um, for the most part. So
Yeah.
I'm aware that things will change. I just know that at some point they pursued me. And right now is the season where I am interested in things that they're interested in so that I can pursue them. And I have the opportunity because they
Yeah.
now have to allow me to pursue. You know what I mean? Like you can try to
Right.
chase after your kid, but if he can run faster than you, you might not catch him. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, for sure.
he could
Or
turn his
or
bright
they
on.
hit you. Yeah, or they hit you with those sly remarks. So like, you don't have to stay here. You just drop me off. I appreciate it. It's like,
Uh-huh.
what if I wanted to? What if I
Yeah.
wanted to hang out? Like I can't hang out with the guys? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, nah, daddy not gonna, he's my friends. Well, I thought they were all our friends. Like, if you my friend, then why can't they be my friend?
Right.
Yeah, I hit my son with all that, but it is in a way, it's an idea or it's a desire to pursue and see what they're talking about now, see what their lives look like, be a part of that, just like I used to be a part of it back then. And so, without trying to pressure or insert myself into his space. And I think that, like you said, it is a touch and go. It's learning what they're comfortable with. How do I fit in this new space and world that you're walking into or you're currently in? And so, I think, yeah, I love the way you put that. I love the way you put that. And to even spin off that, I know in your book you say a lot of times that, I don't want to be an example to others, but I want to
Yeah.
be
Right.
proof that fatherhood works. So why is it so important? And I know I want to hear you kind of share this with others just to break it down a little bit deeper of like, why is it so important that you show people or prove to people that fatherhood works, and why is it so important to your heart?
Well, I think that the overall message around fatherhood is very negative. um, I think that, I mean, even goes back down to like Disney principles. Like the best father in Disney history is probably Mufasa. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like about his business. Nah, don't go over there. Trust me, you deliberately disobeyed me. You know what I'm saying? Like he was on Simba heavy and got murked by his brother. You know what I'm saying? And so like
Yeah,
every
yeah,
other
yeah.
dad was kind of like a fumbling, kind of like, well, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like a goody two shoes
Yeah.
passive. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm sitting here running through them right now. I'm thinking maybe
yeah,
the close runner up was like Ariel's dad. Like, I mean,
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Ariel was trying to go super hard. Really, like a really good dad, like really trying to go hard for his kid. But like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like ultimately he was a hater. You know what I'm saying? Like he was painted as a hater. You want to keep her from love. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you're right. You're
you
right.
know what
You're
I'm
right.
saying? So,
But don't we
um,
all want to do that though? I mean, never mind.
y-
We'll just
you
keep
know,
going.
like and that's the thing. So it's like, when we look at fatherhood, from a uh like from society's perspective, we
Hmm.
do the best when we are silent, and
Yeah.
when we don't give our opinions, we're not overbearing, we're not doing too much. And that's just
Yeah.
fatherhood from a society's perspective. That's not black fatherhood, which black fatherhood can't do right regardless of what they do. You know what I'm saying? If you're too
Hmm.
involved, you know what I'm saying, then you're overbearing and you're controlling. If you're not involved at all,
Hmm.
then you're missing in action and was never around. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
so I think when you look at it from that perspective, our stories are being told by other people, and not a lot of fathers have like, no, this is I'm gonna tell it from my perspective. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I need my wife to be involved in this way. I have to protect my family from my ambition and my wife's ambition. You know what I'm saying? Like both of us
For
can
sure.
ruin things because I just gotta do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, now
Yeah.
we had to have a family. We have to correct ourselves here. Like, is this
Yeah.
really what we want? Is this the temperature we want? Is this
Yeah.
the season we want in our next season? Um, and so there's a lot that we miss when we allow other people to tell our stories, and I think fathers need to tell their own. Um,
Yeah.
and fathers
Yeah.
need to get really
No.
good at telling their stories from their perspective, right? Because we are supposed to provide and protect not just financially and security, but also uh, provide a level of like awareness uh, and like comfort and concern and care that is not always expressed that way
For sure.
because you know we are all overly trying not to be misunderstood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, or as I used to feel like singled out, like, oh, so like providing means running to the bag. Okay, well, I don't wanna ruffle anybody's feathers or throw out like what how I see provision in my home. If I'm not running to the bag, how else am I providing? But oh, y'all don't want to hear that. Okay, well, cool. Well, like, let's just all stay in this box of getting to the bag. It's like, yeah, no, I'm right there with you when it comes to like just seeing myself outside of these boxes, these roles, and the simplicity of how people want to explain it, and then hand that over to you as identity. Here you go. This is your identity. So no, that's a good point. Even down to like, I appreciate you sharing how, like, yeah, if we don't share the story, then we leave room for people to discredit us or tell the story based on what they've seen in this movie or what they've seen in this show or whatever the case may be. So no, that's a good point, and I I, I think that. I love how you continue to do that and even talk about how you continue to do that by showing people what it looks like in your channel. Like if you're curious what that looks like, because there's so many stories you share in this book, which I appreciate because I'm a guy who likes to collect stories. But you talked about one time about how like somebody asked you, well, what does fatherhood look like for you? And it's like, well, that's crazy because you're a father asking me as though fatherhood looks different for me because I'm a black man.
Yeah, yeah. And they were like, thank you so much for giving us a window into your life, you know? And I'm like, what did you think we were doing? You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Like, what
yeah,
are you
yeah.
saying?
Okay, so look, before we jump back into the conversation, I want to ask you a quick favor. If these conversations have encouraged you, challenged you, or simply reminded you that you're not alone, would you take a second to subscribe, like, and share this episode? All right? Every share helps us reach another man who may be struggling silently and needs to hear that hope, healing, and freedom are still possible and found in Jesus Christ. And if you'd like to stay connected with everything happening around God's glory and men's real stories, visit our website where you'll find past episodes, podcast updates, merch, and resources designed to support men on their journey towards healing, freedom, and a deeper relationship with God. Thank you for being part of this community. We don't take this support lightly. Now, let's get back to the conversation. That's fair. It made me sit back and I processed on that. Like, I wonder how many people are equally confused on what my role and why my role would look different than your role. And don't get me wrong, we may do things different. We may have different jobs. We may have different things that we like. Like for instance, I like going grocery shopping. I don't mind grocery shopping. My wife likes so. But at the end of the day, like why would fatherhood be a difference in my home than in your home if we're both called to live up to the role and how that looks? I mean, so I don't know, that made me kind of think like, man, I wonder how many conversations am I not having that would revolve around like, well, what does it look like for you to be a father? And maybe it may not always be like a discredit, but maybe it just may be a curiosity. It's like, you know what, that's fair. That's a fair question.
Yeah, I think
That's a fair question.
I think, for everybody, depending on where you started, it's gonna be different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because, my dad, you know, my dad was in California and I was in Baltimore. So I would fly and see him every summer. My thought process is that if my dad was in Baltimore, I wouldn't have got treated the way I got treated. Right. But also, I don't know that to be true. That was just my thought process.
The
You know what
story
I'm
you
saying?
created, yeah.
So
Mhm.
the story I created, and what did that birth in me? I'm a person that,
Mhm.
like, if it comes to like being there for my children and then like, showing up for an event, I'm not gonna be there. I'm gonna be there for my kids. And it's gonna cost me money. I remember one time
Yeah,
I was a part of a mastermind with Eric Thomas, and there was an event happening, and the event, like, it was, everybody in there, pretty much was like, had made $1 million at some point. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it the cost wasn't a lot for me at the time. But the event, like, I had already bought plane tickets, I paid for a room, it was like 3K. We were gonna do all this stuff and do some amazing stuff with a bunch of people, beautiful. But it was the same weekend as my son's first hockey game.
mhm,
And we had a lot of people in our village who were like, "Yeah, we'll show up." It was about 20 people that were like, "Yeah, we'll show up for his first hockey game here for the love." Da, 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 da. And I was just like, I don't know if I can miss that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's his first one. And if I show up, it might be a complete difference from, you know, whether I show up today, he shows up different on the court, like on the rink. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man,
yeah,
I hit him up and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it. You know what I mean? And they were like, yeah, we get it. Go to your son's game. And I may have missed out on some
sure,
business opportunities, some money, but I know that he thanked me for being there and not going to that thing. You know what I'm saying? And I needed to see him there. He didn't score or nothing. You know what I'm saying? It just was like he played, you know.
right,
Um,
right,
but it
and
was
that
it
was
was
enough.
that was enough.
Yeah, 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 that's that, and I'm just curious, does that reflect on how you used to feel? And I don't know if you did sports or if you did things that you were sitting there wondering, like a lot of men who have shared with me, where it was like I was waiting on my dad to show up and surprise me. I was in the sport, but I kept searching the crowd, waiting for that moment where it was like, even if I don't score, I'm gonna run somebody over today. I'm gonna do something impressive. I can be like,
Yeah.
did you see what I just did?
Yeah. I mean, my dad, when I did live in Cali, we played like softball. He was like the softball coach. So he was very much involved if I had a sport. Um, but I changed my expectations. I lowered them and just was like, I didn't really have expectations for anybody to show up for me. You know what I mean? Like, if they
Mm,
did, then cool. If
yeah,
not, then cool. You know what I mean? Like, I just wasn't
sure.
tripping. Um, I learned it was better to have very low expectations for everyone. That way I never got my hopes up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but it didn't come from a place of not, you know, it didn't come from a place of like me being like, well, I need to be there because my dad was never there. It wasn't that. It just was
Right.
like, no, I want access to him. And this may be a backstage pass for a lifetime for him and I to connect over a sport that I don't necessarily like to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, he
Yeah.
likes it. So then I'll like it because he likes it. This is an invitation. Are you going to accept it? And that was kind of the thing, you know.
Yeah.
And it has paid dividends.
Yeah,
We have
for
been able to
sure.
bond over hockey, in several different ways. We've had more opportunities financially because of hockey, you know. And so that counts. That counts for something.
100%. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I think the beauty, one thing I nobody can argue with how you show up for your kids, and I love how your book's entitled. It's entitled "Father Yourself," so it's not father your kids; it's father yourself
Yourself
first.
first, right?
And I think in a lot of us, and I resonate with the whole like I lowered my expectations. I did that so that my expectations are now where you can't really bother me.
You can't hurt me.
You can't hurt me no more. But a big part of fathering myself has been going back and realizing that my lowered expectations, they're still low.
Yeah.
And
Now you got to
like when
raise them.
it comes, say it again.
Now you got to raise them.
And it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be
Yeah.
because I'm having to find people who will back up me raising these expectations. So it's like simple things. I want to throw you a party.
Uh-huh.
Ah. But what if like nobody shows up? Like I don't know if I want you to do that because like I still have this lowered expectation of what I expect from people when I don't expect them to show up. So it would make me look crazy if you like it's just little
Uh-huh.
things like that where it's like these lowered expectations, they just keep popping up every time somebody brings up something that it's like, oh, I would love to throw a surprise party for my son, but don't do that for me though. Like, don't no, let's stay away from that. Like,
Yeah.
so I think as you were sharing, it just made me think about how like sometimes it's become a lot easier to give them something that I may say I didn't necessarily have, but my one of my biggest models is a statement that I put on a shirt that says "Be the man you needed when you were younger." Is by saying, okay, I remember at certain points who I wanted to show up and the man that I wanted to pop up into my story and be there for me and what I needed from him. But am I willing to do that and be that for me now? Like, am I willing to explore that idea? And
Wow.
it's something that your book really began to like turn that wheel again on like certain things where it was like, man, we are so good at like this father thing.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
then you talk about how like, yeah, but my inner ear,
yes.
that Denzel Washington from Training Day.
Yeah, man. That internal monologue, man. That dialogue is crazy. And we see it pop out. We see it pop out when people's children become adults and they start talking to them like they're just a random person on the street. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm,
unfortunately, we got a
yeah.
really good look into. We never were meant to hear this, but Kirk Franklin's experience with that, where he kind of had that blow up with his son, and I'm a like real grace giver. Like, hey man, people be tripping, sometimes, it is what it is. But it caught so many people off guard because we had never seen him in that way. If you know Kirk
Yeah.
Franklin's story and
Yeah.
you never knew his father, and you know what I'm saying? Like you get so much grace to people like that. But I was thinking, like, man, this can happen to me. If it's inside of me and I'm talking to myself like this, and I'm bullying myself like this, it's only a matter of time before it spills onto my children.
For sure.
It's only a
100%.
matter of time.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. It's in you. So it's not hard for those moments where um you get caught off guard for you to show up on them.
Yes,
And
yes,
and yeah, I think a lot of us have experienced that. I tell my son when I had my son at the age I was, I remember thinking to myself and looking back now and I'm like, man, unfortunately you got the worst of me. It was the guy who was still growing, and I've given myself grace to recognize that I didn't know what I know now, but I can't just use that as an excuse to be like, "Well, son, I hey, bro, it's like I have spent the past 4 or 5 years just not necessarily trying to make up for it, but
Yeah.
just live in this living who I want to be now. Like, who is the man I want to be now? If I live that out, then he gets to experience that through my actions. And it doesn't go back and try to fix how it was, but it lays a new foundation of like how I wish I'd showed up.
Yeah.
And I love how my son has openly said, "Man, like I got a different dad now." And when you hear stuff like that, you're just like, it almost hit me like how, and you got so many stories here. I'm not gonna give them away because I want people to like truly go and like really, really pull these stories out. But you shared a story about a guy who was in like your inner circle. And y'all were all just like, yeah, we never really had no dad. Like, I don't ever want to be like the dad. And he was like, well, actually, I want to be everything. I wish I could just be a percentage of the
Yeah.
man who raised me.
Yeah. That shocked us.
And you're right. As I sat there as if I was in y'all circle, and I sat back like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I want. Well, what's that look like? Like, I want to, and it creates a curiosity. But the beauty is, you had that man still in your community that you could
Yes.
go to and share that with. And I thought to myself, what if I had never heard my son say that I got a new dad now, but somebody came to me and said, your son's so proud of you. And he talks about how he has a new dad. It's like
Mhm.
it hits you the same way of like, man, I've been working so hard for him to not see the guy he used to see. And I didn't know if it was, I didn't know I was just moving through life and I didn't know if he ever saw it. But like, it's a blessing to know that he sees it. And that does bring about emotion.
Yeah, man. That's kudos to you for recognizing that something had to change. What was that for you though? Like what
That
happened?
had to change.
Yeah. I'm assuming you had your kid young.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and I would say I was like, I think I was like 27. So I don't know if I
You
was
weren't that
like
young.
super young, but I
Right.
said, but yeah, but to be honest, everything had to change. Everything that I had carried, everything that I wouldn't release, every person I wouldn't forgive, everything that kept me running from God, all of that constructed a guy who held up the walls and kept me surviving life. The
Yes.
problem is I'm surviving life. I'm the worst type of guy to want to show this other person what surviving looks like, and it's gonna be hard. You gotta suck it up. And it's not always gonna be
Uh,
funny. Stop crying.
yeah.
It's like because you're living out of this fright of I gotta protect you. So like sit down and be quiet and stop. And
You got to be tough so the world gonna chew you up and spit you out.
and that's exactly what I became because I got chewed up and spit out like a lot of us
Yeah.
so early that it was like I had to create a version of me and resonating even with the depiction of your mother. I not I had a mother um who when my dad walked out the house, whether he wanted to or not, he took the nurturing, he took the love,
Yeah.
he took that with him. So her survival technique was to survive, and and in a way it made it to where um nurturing wasn't something I possessed. So I didn't get it. So like even hugging people was weird for me. Like
Yeah.
personal was weird for me. So no, it you know what in our lives it becomes almost this thing where like and I was gonna ask you, how did your mother's view of the importance of a father shape your view of fatherhood?
How did my mother's view of the importance of a father shape my father? Um,
Mhm.
I don't know. I think, what I realized about my mother is that she was young when she had me. She was 16 when she had me. So when I think about that and I recognize that she needed, like, she was still throwing tantrums. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't dealing with a person who was having just like a rough day at work. I was dealing with someone who was throwing tantrums like a child.
Teenager.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, not even a teenager. Like, she was like,
Oh,
she would like,
okay.
she was throwing tantrums like a 2-year-old. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I recognize that, wow, somebody got to be grown up here. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I guess I believe, as many parents say, that she did the best she could.
Sure.
And my response is that wasn't enough. The
Mhm.
best you could
Mhm.
wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? The best I know that I'm doing a phenomenal job as a father right now. And I'm still not doing the best I could.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Mm.
still could step it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But I know these kids are like, yo, you are killing it. Because they know what happened to me as a kid, as a child, right? But I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I could probably be 20% better than what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so I don't accept that. I don't accept that that's the best you could do. And so now I'm kind of like, my mom probably recognized I needed she knew I needed discipline. She knew I needed structure. That's why she was so hard on me. She was trying to do both jobs. You know what I mean? That's why she put me in ROTC as a kid, like in a high school, yeah, ROTC. And I had like mentors and like other black men to talk to. Um, I had community, so to speak. So she knew I was missing something that she couldn't provide. But even still, you know, I feel like she was willing to risk our relationship to make sure I understood respect in like hardship. And
Mm.
she wanted me to know what toughness was.
Yeah.
But she also, did all that, in a way that would be detrimental for our relationship. And she taught me so much, man. It was a really good lesson. And our issues now have more to do with, you know, how she has used you know, the pain from our past to manipulate how I function now in our relationship. And so it's not even about forgiveness at this point. It's kind of like, hey, are you ready to heal? And she basically not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And so
Yeah. No.
I think
Do
my
understand
mother
that.
has her own
Mm.
issues from her past that, you know, they don't they won't fix. I can't fix her. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't go and deal with that stuff, you can't even. I just posted some on Instagram yesterday, and it's kind of been a little bit of talking. This guy, Dr. Black, was saying, the son will heal the father. Everybody wants the father to do the healing, wants the father to heal the son, but the son will actually heal the father because he doesn't even like, if you know what he's carrying, he can't come. And I was just like, oh man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of like going back and forth with it. And I recognized that
Mhm.
my father in my later years now has made himself available and his ears are in tune. Now that he's watching me parent, he sees things from a different perspective. And he knows I'm a bad man when it comes to this. You know, he's like, man, when y'all want me to watch the kids? And I was like, I don't know. We don't really need you to. He was like, yeah, man, it's easy watching your kids. They feed themselves, they wash their own clothes, they all take care of each other. Like, they work independently and they don't ask me for nothing. Only thing I gotta do sometimes is reach something high in the fridge that the one kid can't reach. And that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? And so, but he recognizes that we've set him up for success
Yeah.
and we're still heavily on top of the kids being like, hey, I've noticed this about you. Are you concerned that where this lie is going to lead you? Are you concerned about who you're becoming if you really get that line? You know what that means, son? you know what that means, daughter? Like, that's the type of conversations I'm having. He's watching me have those conversations. He's open to me being like, yeah, when you gonna go to therapy? He's like, man, I never thought I needed it until I started to watch you. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. For
Now,
sure.
the other opposite position with my mom is, I told you I'm ready to heal. Let's talk about this. Let's get over this. I'm tired of dealing with this. Let's get through it. Okay, cool. Let's sit down and talk to a therapist. All right, you sit down and talk to a therapist. And nobody knows this. So this is an exclusive. We
Awesome.
sit, so we sit down and talk to our therapist. And I'm like, hey, like, she's like, what are the problems that you have with me? I said, you gaslight me into this relationship, by making it seem like you never did anything wrong, and you won't take accountability um, for hitting me out of anger. And she goes, with her therapist, and she goes, I never hit you out of anger. And I was like, wait, are you saying that you never hit me or my brother out of anger? And she goes, no, I've never done that. So I go, okay. So now I go, well, look, the best we could do is be friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not gonna cry on your shoulder. I'm not gonna call you for help or anything like that. Like, the best we could do is be friends. And if you need me, I got you. But I don't need anything from you. And the thing you're working toward now is having a relationship with your grandchildren, because they
Yeah.
access to them comes through me, right?
Right. 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 For sure.
So what do
For
you
sure.
want out of this relationship? She was like, I don't know what I'm. So I'm like, well, if you're willing to lie to me about what I experienced, but you said you want healing, and you're also lying to your therapist, then that means you're fighting against your own team. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah. I
can't
think the
be in
lie
this
started
relationship.
with her.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
Yeah.
you have to go do some work that I can't do for you.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah. For
I'm willing
sure.
to help and
100%.
be a part of your community, but
Yeah.
I can't do it if you want to lie to your therapist. That's insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
No, for sure.
and that's kind of like
Um,
where we
yeah.
are.
So as you shared that story, I appreciate you sharing that, bro. Because I first of all, I can't imagine what that's like to sit in your chair and try to um rebuild something that that you I'm sure there is something inside of you that says, I would love to have a relationship with my mom again. I would love for us to, but it requires us to walk through this door together. But every time I walk through and I say, you coming, it's like, no, I can't go through there. And so it leaves me walking alone. And I say that seeing as though I've sat also with my sister and my mother in therapy. I hope she's okay with me sharing this. And I won't go into details,
Yeah.
but I recognize that
Quick pause. Don't skip this. We're partnered with Confined Space Coffee. This isn't just coffee. It's for the early mornings, the long nights, and the real conversations that actually matter. So if you're rocking with this podcast, you'll love what they're building. Go use code GLORY, capital GLORY, for 10% off your first order. Confined Space Coffee. It's the coffee that fuels the conversations that matter. All right, so back to the episode.
there is an accountability. There's a healing that happens before you try to heal the family unit. And
Yes.
it's almost like it starts with you. Like I know I can show up here with you, but it starts with you getting to a point where you begin to even maybe tear down some of the lies that kept you safe. What you told yourself, the stories you created that helped you move through life, cope, and see yourself the way you need to see yourself so you won't guilt trip yourself,
Yeah.
feel ashamed of what you've done or not done. And so, but as I would love to always share with her, maybe she'll listen to this, that, you know, the beauty is that there is a beautiful relationship on the other side of what you put up to survive you.
Yeah.
To feel good about you and the way you saw yourself when you look in the mirror. And the beauty is if as long as you hide behind that stuff, then you will only see you in the mirror. But as we begin to tear those things down, you can see us in the mirror.
Yeah. Mm.
And um, I do believe that I don't ever put it past God to say that, like, if you can show me the things about myself, the things that you helped me get through, the things that you tore down in my life and stripped me of, that I needed and I didn't know how to let go of, then I know that there's an opportunity for you to do that in my life if that's your will. And if it's your will, then I'm open to that. But at the same token, there is this almost like protection thing where it's like sometimes I want to protect not only myself from you, but I also want to kind of protect my kids. Like, you're not gonna do that with them, though, right? You're not
Yeah.
gonna take them
Right.
there and like we're gonna yeah. It's almost like these are mine to raise, and I almost like don't want you to like you don't I don't mind your feedback, but like I want you to also like watch me and maybe see how I do it and just let me make the mistakes you made in different things. So I think that, man, I mean, write a whole book on that right
Yeah.
there in
It's
itself. But I think
yeah, it's really hard to like get through. It reminds me of we have out here we have these things called foxtails. They're like big plants. Where you at? Where you live?
I'm in North Carolina.
Okay, you're in North Carolina. I'm in San Diego. Okay. So
Yep.
these foxtails, these big plants, and they got these little like kind of they look like foxtails. They look like pieces. They're needles that if you're not careful, I have a labradoodle. I mean, yeah, they'll get stuck in her ear. Like they're twisty and they whine. Really weird plants.
Sounds
And
like chiggers here. We call them chiggers. They're like
okay,
this little weird thing where when it gets in your pants, it's almost like it's
yes,
alive and it just
yeah,
starts to, yes.
yeah. So it's like walking through that field and thinking that you're not going to get anything on you when you know it's going to be everywhere. And my hope, because I had to think about this like logically. I was like, look, man, I've been doing the work. I've been forgiving you and letting you back in, only for you to do the same things, only for you to like. I told my wife I wasn't. Hey, man, I don't have a really good relationship with my mother. She's like, well, that can't be. We're gonna work on that. You know what I'm saying? And so for the first 6 years of our relationship, she was like, no, you're tripping. And then like year 7, she was like, all right, you're right. You know what I'm saying? And so like I'm like, hey, now I don't need anybody else to agree with me. I trust me. I know that
Mhm.
my experience is valid. I know that when I
Yeah.
talk on the phone with you, you say some things that pull me down creatively and you mess up my money. So you're not good for my pockets. Because the things you say to me, they're going to affect how I make my money. You know what I mean? Which is going to affect how I feed my family. So I can't talk to you
Yeah.
during the week. Right. And then I was like, I'll save the conversations for Friday nights so that it'll take me a couple days to get over the things you said. My Monday I can be good. And then I was like, wait a minute, I deserve a good weekend. I don't deserve my weekend to be messed up either. So I want my Friday nights and my Saturdays and Sunday. Then
For sure.
I'll
For
put it back
sure.
in your place. Now I'm raising myself. I'm raising my expectations for me, like we talked about.
Hmm.
I have
Yep.
higher
Yep. Yep.
expectations for the people I give my time to. If you're gonna
Yep.
pull things away from me creatively, if you're gonna I gotta talk about it to my wife. I gotta talk to my therapist. It actually costs me money and time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But really, all
Yeah.
you have to do is go do your own work and go face the demons that you have in front of you. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I
Putting
can't do,
boundaries out there.
yeah. So it's just boundaries. It's just boundaries.
Mhm.
And you know, I tell that same thing to my kids and say, God forbid I'm this unaware, but I want you to protect yourself from anybody in your life or this family that, you know, um, forces you to lie to yourself about what's going on. You know what I'm
Ooh.
saying? And
Yeah.
so I'm just trying to live in truth. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
can't lie to myself. You can lie to me, but I
Yeah.
can't lie to myself.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. It in a way I think we've all in a way lied to ourselves about things enough. We've had to tell lies just to continue on certain relationships and sit in certain spaces that we didn't feel like we should be. And maybe even God was just putting us into a space that he was going to see, as he says, I know this is not going to be comfortable, and you don't even have to lie to yourself about how uncomfortable it is, but I want you to trust me, and that's been another hard season of just, you know, chasing after not only myself, finding myself, being that man in certain situations that I'm reminded of in my past, but also you said it earlier. You spoke on like sometimes we need to father our parents,
Yeah.
and that sounds
Oh,
crazy,
I hate it.
by the way.
I hate it. Yeah.
Because first it has to filter through this. What do you mean, father them or parent them? They didn't even parent me. So first of all, I ain't got to do that at all. That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I got kids. But once we get through that little tantrum of how we feel about like, yo, that's stupid. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
My wife challenged me one time, and she created. She did, but God worked through her to create a beautiful story of an opportunity that I got to father my dad. Um, and it was by taking him to his very first NFL game ever.
Wow. Wow.
And I didn't know it was his first. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew that my wife put it on my heart to say, "Would you consider taking him to a game?" And I'm, of course, no, man, I'm taking to a game. Like he ain't ever come to one of my
He ain't
games.
never
He ain't
come.
ever
Yeah, yeah,
like.
exactly.
Well, let's start there. He ain't never even come to one of my games. Why would I want to take him to a game like that?
Mhm.
But as I begin to make way for God to sit with me in that, as I like to do, God began to soften my heart, and so I put it back in God's hands. I said, God, if it's your will for me to do this, if it's your will for me to be to parent my dad, and I wasn't even thinking about parenting my dad. I was just thinking about like spending time with my dad doing something. It was like, if it's your will, it's got to be your bill, because
Mm.
this NFL game right here, this game cost a lot.
Yeah.
He wanted like we talking about Carolina Panthers against the Dallas Cowboys,
Oh,
like
wow.
Cowboys fans, they live forever, and they they don't what that's like.
Yeah, yeah. They don't give up,
Lord,
man.
but I would say that the story, how that played out, and how I was able to take my dad to his first game, and I realized that he told me that while we were driving to the game, and the pictures we took there with my son and my brother along with us all, I could look over and see the little boy sitting down there
Yeah.
who never got taken to the game. And he was sitting with the little boy who never got to experience a game with his dad, and I believe that day it was healing for both of us. And
Yeah.
I thought about how, like, if I hadn't allowed God to soften my heart to even experience that, I would have thrown that idea away, and whatever. I'm not doing that because I allowed my insecurity, my pain, my past pain to dictate like how that may feel, what that would look like, or how truthfully I thought he won't even show up.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why when I even reading your book, it was like this is a lifelong process.
Yeah.
And it doesn't start when you have kids, because this book, a lot of people will be like, well, I'm not a father yet. It's for you.
Yeah.
Like right
Exactly.
now.
Yeah. Exactly. Because if you could reparent yourself, you would do a completely different job. You know what you would do different. You know what I'm saying? You know you would change things. And so
Yeah.
with that energy, love yourself now. Right. I
Yes.
was sitting here and
Yes.
I was talking to my dad. He was in the garage and I was like, yo, he was like, he was like falling apart and being so vulnerable, being so comfortable. And the child in me is kind of like getting irritated. I'm like getting irritated. I'm like, what's going on, man? Like, look at all this healing taking place. You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
Yeah.
he was like, man, this feels like therapy in itself. I don't need a therapist. I got you. And I'm like, man, like I'm sitting here getting irritated, but I'm happy for him because he's
Right.
having breakthroughs. And
Right.
I hate my therapist. And I was like, I think I'm jealous that my father has me in a way that I never had him.
Mm.
Like, what is wrong with me? Shouldn't I be rejoicing in the fact that I can I I can pour into him in this way, but instead
Yeah.
I'm irritated by it,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my therapist was like, two things can exist. Both emotions can exist at the same time. And actually, my homie Jay Barnett told me that too. Like, two of those things can exist at the same time. And then my therapist was like, who better than you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah. Who
You've
better
been
than you
doing
to watch it?
He's like, bro, I've been watching. My therapist was like, bro, I've been watching you work. I've been watching you scale these walls, and you are doing a phenomenal job at it. Who better than you? You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Mhm.
you could be upset, but also, who better than you? You know, so it was just like one of them things where I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got the message that I needed to get, but also, I keep telling my wife, I still need a place to live. Like, I still don't feel like I could fall apart. I feel like too many people depend on my success. I feel like I can't die because of the people who will be falling apart around me. Like,
Mm.
I'm the secure person in a lot of people's lives. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
But is
saying?
it true though? Is it, I mean, is it true though? I mean, like, and I know that's who you've had to be, but
Is it true?
yeah.
I I think it is. You know how like you might be that person in your family. Like, I got a grandfather who everybody's like, well, we know he got it. He had the same job for 60 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might be that person. And then I thought about like, man, if he dies, like I'm kind of the guy. I'm like, please don't die. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want
Mm.
that stress. And so
Okay.
it's not true. I do have a place to lean. I just don't always fall back. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife has allowed me,
Yeah.
my wife has given me, the opportunity to be 100% of myself in my home, which a lot of men don't have that. Right.
Sure.
I did just join the BSSC, right? That is Charlotte Social Club, you know what I'm saying? Where
Okay. That yeah,
men
yeah, yeah, yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
together and they really care about each other.
Push strollers,
You
for
know what I'm
sure.
saying? Um,
For sure.
I'm the chapter rep for the San Diego chapter. Um,
Oh, that's dope. Okay.
so I do have homies that I hit up, I call on, help me process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, and I guess, I don't, you know, here's where my doctrine is all jacked up. I never learned to lean on my father, so I never leaned on God. And I don't want to burden him with my issues. That's where I have to re-educate myself and remind myself that God, nothing is too heavy for him. You know what I'm saying? But the process is kind of like, dang, like I was too much for my mom. I had to learn to minimize myself so I wasn't a burden. Now she wants access to me by any means necessary and wants to hurt me in the process. And then my dad is like, oh man, I can lean on my son. This is amazing. And I'm like, oh shoot, I've never
Yeah,
learned to
what's going
lean.
on? Yeah, here I am. I got these. I feel like I'm being attacked by the two people who I have now pushed away from their nest. I don't need them anymore, and like here they are, and they're still. Yeah,
I'm a
okay,
pillar.
okay.
It's not attack.
Yeah,
It's I'm a pillar. So I can feel,
holding them up. Yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah. And so um
Wow, that was a that was a lot right there, bro.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
And
man.
so
I'm gonna write your second book for you, bro. I think we might be close enough to where
co-author.
they won't even know, bro. They won't even know, bro. I mean, like when you even just said, like I learned to not lean on my dad, so I never learned to even lean on God, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, see, this is why, like, we should bridge in, like you said, we should bridge in Jay Barnett right now, because see, he would understand this too.
Yes.
And that, like, my dad was like his story. I learned about Jay Barnett because one day somebody watched an episode of him. And they were like, "Bro, this is your twin," and just like his dad, my dad was a pastor,
Yeah.
and so it in a way messed up the way I saw God, because it was like, as I've said many times, if my dad was a pastor and him and God were co-workers, why would God care anything about me more than my dad? And so I didn't need, I felt like if I don't need my dad, I don't need God either. And you're right, it screwed up the way I saw Father God. He was okay if he was just God, but the second it was like Father, I don't want that. I don't want that relationship. I
Yeah.
don't want that. I don't need a father. I don't want nobody coming in my life trying to be a father. And and I will say that that God had a way of coming into my life and showing me what a father looked like. He gave me actual foundation for what I wanted to be as a father. But it took many years. It took a lot of running. It took a lot of self-sabotage and everything else to even get here, to even agree to this. But like you, it was just like I felt like, I think it's similar to how you're saying, that like I should be able to fall back on you guys. Like, you guys should be my fallback people. Like, you guys are the ones who should raise me. And that whenever I should be able to fall back on you, but it's not that way. So I have to be the strongest one now because I'm holding not only my own family up, but I'm holding you guys up in a way. And it's not how I pictured it.
Right.
Like I can take pride in it, but it's not really this picture I had for my life.
Yeah, and it doesn't check for you. Like my breaths, like I have to intentionally breathe because my breaths are shallow. Like
Mm.
even talking through this conversation, like it is kind of like, dang, like, no, it's not how I pictured it. I actually pictured it way worse because I didn't know I would do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
but the fact that now I have to figure it out because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, there's no, fatherhood expert that is helping me. You know what I'm saying? So even through
right.
that, you know, a therapist will famously say, "No one's coming. No one's coming. No one's coming."
Mm,
Right? You are the people you need. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, man, but wouldn't it be nice if somebody just was like, right, yo, for the next 6 to 7 months, for the next 2, 3 years, I got you. I'm gonna hold you down. I'm gonna help you because I see the work you're
mhm,
doing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
mhm, mhm.
nah, I don't have that.
Yeah.
And so that plus, hey, you got life insurance, pops? Hey, that plus, mom, I don't need that energy right now. That's not doing anything for me. That plus,
Mhm,
hey, son, lying is going to lead you to a place you don't want to go. That plus,
mhm,
my wife dealing with her own, family stuff. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to figure out who she is as a woman versus a wife and a mother. That plus,
mhm.
you know, my daughter, trying to fall in love at the age of 8. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Nigga, this is, yeah, I'm tired. Like, I just want to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And turn it
Yeah,
off
yeah,
for
yeah,
a second.
yeah, yeah.
And so I think the book is so important because, especially for people who aren't parents yet, because I want you to recognize how much it's going to cost you to prioritize other people over yourself. And it will cost you yourself. But if you have the time and the proximity to therapy or to finances that will help you process some of the stuff that you went through, and you can
Mhm.
raise yourself up, everyone will benefit for that work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You growing yourself up will benefit so many different people that you come across, and you will better be able to care for them and care for yourself through those seasons
Facts.
if you do the
For
work in
sure.
fathering yourself first. If you don't,
100%.
you're gonna be, assembling the plane while trying to fly it, you know, and that's
That's
where I've
good.
been.
That's
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 where I've been.
that is a good way of putting it. Yes. And that's not a bad place to be, but it's like when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
Like right now, okay, I can't afford therapy. Go grab his book there real quick.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Let's start there. Let's start there. So you can start to uh pull out the stuff. You're throwing it all in that closet. Let's start to pull it out.
What
Maybe
is
we might
this?
look at it for the next few
Right.
months, but let's pull it out. Let's take steps at
Yes.
this.
Yeah. Does
Let's
this
take
even fit?
steps at
Right.
this. And um, I agree with you. I think even having this conversation today has just kind of been like, oh man, wow, yeah, though, yeah. I remember when that bandage is where it's like, okay, man, you know what? Let's change the subject because that's bothering me what you're talking about right now. Like, let's talk about
Yeah.
something else
Yeah.
because I don't have anything to say on that. Um, But yeah, I think it's so important. I think it's so important. I think also what you've done. I mean, like I love how you talk about how you tell stories about sitting with other men in their homes, watching how they show up as fathers. I think based on everything we've talked about, I think it's clear to say that I didn't really know per se how I wanted fatherhood to look. So I didn't want to be a father at all.
Yeah.
Because what I had seen wasn't this picture that I wanted to replicate. But that was before you begin to sit with other men, other fathers, other husbands, and they invited you into their world. Can you even walk us just like slightly through what you gained from those moments of access?
Yeah, I mean, it was simplifying. Like it was simplifying it. Um, Nobody was too crazy about any one thing. They just were like, "Hey, here's some ways that I've survived fatherhood in the world, right?" And I've thrived through that season. Giving kids like quiet time during day when they're young. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that you keep them active. It's really important. Uh, show interest in the things that they're interested in. Uh, don't let them play a sport if they suck. Tell them they're not good at it and they need to do something else. Like these are just practical things that a lot of men were telling me. And these were a lot of dads. Uh, these are a lot of white dads, a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? But they were just giving me tidbits. You know what I'm saying? I looked at their families and I asked them, what does it cost? Like so many of us sit there and we idolize someone else's position. We covet where they are in their life and their success, but we don't ask them what it cost them. The real
Yeah,
question is,
it's a
what
great
did it cost
question.
you to get there? Yeah, you've been married
Yeah.
20 years. What did that cost you? Hey, you're extremely successful at this part of your business. What did it cost you? And that's really what I was curious about. What did it cost? And I remember my mentor, Pat, um, you know, he got into an accident on the Ironman race and he was dead on arrival. When they took him to the hospital, they revived him. As soon as I found out, I flew to him, not just because I love him, not just because he's a friend of mine, I care about him, and I love his family. I needed to see what it cost him to be an Ironman. Hey, you spent your entire, 40s training to be this athlete. You're incredible at it. Now you're injured. What have you learned?
Hmm. Hmm.
And he told me, yeah, I don't want to ever leave my family side again. I want them to live with me forever. That's all that
Wow.
really matters is family.
Wow.
That's what he told me. Thank
Yeah.
you. Got the message.
Yeah.
I'm out. Thank you. I got it. Now I didn't leave right then and there, but I needed to see. I need to
You
see you
need
get up, but I need to know what it cost you because I don't want to have to get hit to learn this lesson. I'm learning from you.
right. For sure. For sure. Yes. Go through that to realize, oh man, none of this other stuff matters. Like I think that's one of the greatest teachers sometimes. I don't have to get hit to learn this. If you've been my mentor up to this point and everything else you said was important, then this is just as important as everything else you've told me before now.
Oh man, let my pain teach you. And that's what happens when, you film your family and one of your kids say, "Hey, I don't want to be on camera no more." You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
hey,
read that. Yeah.
yeah, what did it cost you? You know, I am, I got a mentor right now, and I'm outworking her. She said, she's actually my wife mentor, and I borrow her. All right, I borrow her. I only got to hear it once. My mentor was like, "Yeah, I think you need to um start a men's group." This was it was like August 23rd. She said, start a men's group and you can meet with them on Zoom and you guys just kind of talk and process and then you can get stories from there. The first class was September 3rd. I started that week. I started that in the 2 weeks from there. This week coming up is week 16. I haven't stopped, right? She already gave me 2 other tasks. I've already hit her up. Hey, I already applied for the thing. It starts on this date. And you know what I'm saying? But now I'm helping her with certain things. And I said, just so you know, I've been obedient. She's like, dang, man, you
Yeah.
listening faster than I expected to. I want to make you proud too, right? So we have this like, who's gonna make each other more proud? Because I'm not gonna waste it. Like I'm fighting for mentorship. The people who really gonna give me the goods is women, right?
Okay, why is that? No, why is that?
I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know. I think
They're
that
offering you a perspective that. Go ahead.
yes, they're offering me a perspective that they operate in a business sense because there's not a lot of thought leaders on fatherhood. It just doesn't exist. Most men are gonna touch it, but they're not gonna major in it. You know what I'm saying? Like the person that's probably majoring in most is Bill Cosby, and we know how that turned out. You know the dig? You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to know, you know, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I need more knowledge, but you know, I'm also not waiting for anybody either. If you the homie, if you got more information, your son's 17, I'm gonna hit you up, bro. Robert,
Yeah.
my son just turned
What's
16.
this?
He's got this going on. What do you think? You know what I'm saying? I'm in the peer mentorship
Yeah.
now. Forget somebody big homie. I'm not even waiting for y'all because I know when it's my turn and I get the opportunity and I'm 60 and somebody goes, man, I need help. I'm right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but then that again reinforces the level of like, that's why I don't lean. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So you end up like
Yeah, I
frustrated.
do, but I hate that for you, bro. I do. Oh my goodness, the fact that and what's crazy is that when we finish here today, I'll literally go to a fire pit that a brother has in the backyard where we could go, and if I need to fall apart, if I've been holding together all week and I need to fall apart for a second, I can there.
Yeah.
I don't, and it won't make others uncomfortable. Like, oh, wait a minute, bro. Like, I wasn't expecting all this tonight. Like, because you're right. There's a point where everything that we're carrying becomes so heavy that if I don't have that space, if you didn't have that space where even showing up, because like you created a group. So I mean, a lot of those guys look to you and they're like, okay, bro, we're expecting you to walk us through this. And like once again, it gives you another opportunity to be leaned on and not be the leaner. But
No,
I
but
think we
they let
all
me lean though. Those guys let me lean. But go ahead.
okay. And that's good. I think that's so important because
Yeah.
sometimes we show up as the leader and others don't know what to do with our lean when we say trust fall, and they're just like, wait, bro. Like we
Yeah.
came here to and so I say that only because you talked about all the people in your life and all the different things, and it's like okay, like and I also see how you it, it becomes so important with everything that you share with me and everything that I feel like I recognize, and I'm like, yeah, I can understand that. I sit there that we not just show um how great of fathers we are, but how great we can steward the positions that God has given us, the children and the family that we've been given, and how, like, as my wife likes to say now, and she said this recently on a podcast we've been doing together, she was like, yo, I didn't even look at you as a leader in the beginning. Like, talk about like he gonna kill me right
Yeah.
here. Why we okay? Well, like, but
Yeah.
she was like, the truth is if you were never going to submit to God as the leader of your life, then why would I submit to you if I'm submitted to Him? Like,
Uh-huh.
and it was like it. And you know what? It hit me almost like what your wife said to you, and
Uh-huh.
because every time I read that, like, what she, it was almost like you baited me. You caught me, and then you left me out there to hang all night long while you went to sleep peacefully. It was like, what's your plan? I ain't got. Oh, you just gonna roll over and let me say,
Yeah.
okay, well, dang, now, well, I guess you gave me the opportunity to think about it all night because you didn't sit there and I think in all of our lives, I came to that point where it was like, dang, God, like I don't have it. I don't know. Like
Uh-huh.
heard a guy say today, like God will never put more on you than you can handle.
Uh-huh.
Lies, lies.
Uh-huh.
He
Yeah.
actually puts more on you than you can handle. So you will
You can
eventually
lean up.
like look to him and be like, okay,
Exactly.
all right,
Right.
too
Yeah.
much weight. too much weight.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's all I was waiting on. I was waiting on you. You to say trust fall. I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I want that for everybody. I want that for you, bro. I want that for all of us. And as we, especially as we lead the ones that, come on in, baby, you about to go to bed? Especially as we're leading the ones that we didn't necessarily ask for.
Sleep. Let go of the child.
But it's I'll see you in the morning, okay? Love you. But it becomes so much bigger than us when it's like, God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't like in all this. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't know
But
what I'm supposed to.
yeah, but you know what's crazy? It's like every time I feel like I'm at my wit's end, he always covers me. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I was getting to the point where I was like, dang, man, like, my friends ain't really like friending like I thought they was gonna friend. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever. What do I gotta do? I dropped this book. I have a book signing in Atlanta. The dude hits me up in Atlanta, like, yo, I can't make it to the book signing, but I want to kick it. If you down to kick it, you know, I'm always down for a little Atlanta weirdness. So I'm like, sure, let's come through. We
That's
can kick it.
exactly
I
what it
gotta go
is.
buy some stuff from the mall. You come to the mall. We kicked it. He's a part of the DSSC. He's the chapter rep in Atlanta. Oh man, cool. He tells me all about the DSSC. I'm like, man, this is dope. These cats are dope. I'm like, they seem pretty cool. Let me tap in with them, see what they up to. Maybe I want to join because I don't want to run my own thing. Everybody in this, most people kind of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this fatherhood thing. I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna do a conference. I'm gonna do, and they trying to lead it all. I learned I don't want to do that. I'd rather be somebody around somebody else's thing because I already know what God has got me doing. So I link up with these guys. First thing to do, hit me up. Hey man, when the last time you been to the doctor, bro?
Great question.
Bro, how you doing, man? When's the last time you been to therapy? Just checking in on you. Like these are the questions these guys are asking me. And I'm like, friends, these are the type of niggas I need in my life. Straight up and down. Like I need this. And so I've been locked in with these guys. I feel it. I said it, I asked, and I invested. I make myself available, right? And God is providing for me. And so I'm also sensitive to like, Lord, where else am I not making myself available? Where else do I need to grow a little bit? And I need to trust you more and take a trip or accept an invitation from someone. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I'm grateful that God is proving me wrong because what's happened over my lifetime is that I've had, you know, a lifetime worth of proof that has led to me being impure. My heart is impure when it comes to relationships, based on my foundational relationships.
For sure. 100%.
My heart is impure when it comes to politics, based on what I've ingested. So I have impure thoughts when it comes to certain things and behaviors. So I now need God to renew my mind in these certain areas so that I can operate in all that He has for me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
100%.
so,
Oh, bro, yes.
yeah, so I'm giving myself the opportunity to have God renew me. You know what I mean? Even though in my flesh, I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to I want to lower my expectations even for the Lord. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
Man,
No,
I got some growing up to do.
it sounds crazy, but no, I'm right there with
We
you.
got some
Like
growing up
to
to
the
do, bro.
point, like when I say, okay, so and we'll talk about this later off air, but it's funny because I took a journey with you. You didn't know I was on a plane with you, but like I took like preferably I was on a plane with you after September 9th of this past year. I was emotionally with you. And I was feeling what you were feeling, and you were just saying it out loud, and I was like, what he's saying, and I feel him, and and it was like,
I got you.
and I'm wrestling with so much that God, it was like God, oh man, he wrecked my heart because he taught me so much this past year.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I was like, oh man, I wish I could just I wish I could journal this and send this to my brother Belief, because he might need this too. Like, man,
Yeah.
man, being brothers who are going through the space, whether it be mental health, in my case, fatherhood in your case, and different things, podcasting, and then all of a sudden, trying to continue to chase after what God wants for us while being in a community of other Christian brothers and sisters. And then all of a sudden it was just like they came for us. And now how do I still move forward with what God is doing in my life and the distractions that I can't even blot out now? Like,
Yeah.
I'm so distracted right now, and I didn't even plan to take this turn on this
Yeah.
episode today or this
Yeah.
conversation, but here we are, just like realizing that, like, in the distractions of life and fatherhood and all that we've been given to do and all that we're called to do, I appreciate even your voice to say that you're not going to change the direction in which I'm called to go, even though the distractions around me are impeding on my preparations for this book dropping and
Yeah.
everything else. And
Yeah.
I probably had fans, but now I probably don't have as many fans because
Yep.
I'm processing out loud what this feels like and what life is like and how messy it is. And truthfully, I think it speaks to the beauty of healing, because like, oh, I'm healed. September 9th. Back to the drawing board again.
Yeah.
Didn't know it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of life, and that fathering yourself doesn't ever end. You'll be fathering yourself one day when your kids turn 30 and they say something or do something that reminds you of an experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I say all that to say, man, I appreciate you being a voice um in the fog that we all sit in the mess and the crap and all the other stuff that we see, and still being able to bring um the words that I truly believe God put in you, and the stories, and even down to like crazy, bro. Your son what took a tissue and wiped his butt, and then, like, bro, I hollered. I hollered. I hollered. I was like,
Yeah, man.
I ain't never had that happen.
Man, that was crazy, bro. That
But
yeah. And I appreciate you
yeah.
saying that, bro. Like there is a cost. There's a cost to processing, but I'm looking, and that's the hard part, is that is as Christians, we are accepted when we are fake, when we are not human. The more we appear perfect, the more we are accepted.
As fathers, it's the same way. We it's hard for us to fail. We need to have all the answers. We need to have solutions. And we're not seen as human. You know what I'm saying? We're seen as providers and protectors. And that it lets go of our humanity, because we have things to do, right?
Yeah.
And so I want more humanity in this part. So I'm gonna lose more followers. I'm going to show more flaws, because at this point, this stage of life is important, because this is the quiet years. You're not having any more babies. No one's getting married like that. You have to get through the teen years. It becomes all about your kids and their sports and the things they're interested in, right? And you kind of get lost in that, and your marriage could take an L if you're not careful, right? So I need to focus on this part right now. This is a really important part of the journey where a lot of fathers get missed. This is where a lot of us get sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, like, I receive what you're saying, and I'm okay with this next part of the journey. But I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you for having me on, for sure.
No, yeah, bro. This has been a blessing, man. I appreciate you sharing so much. And I as People come here to listen to stories, and I believe that even for the people who don't like reading, you got an audiobook version that I've been listening to, but I appreciate what you put into this. And I pray that more men go out and pick this up. Um, just to see how normal you are, just to see how the fact that, like, you're not off, you're not wrong, you're not bad at this. You're looking at this, and sometimes looking at this the wrong way. And so I think that this book just kind of like, it made me feel seen. It made me feel like, okay, see, I'm not by myself. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that, we are looking for a club to join. Sometimes you don't know you're already in a club until you start realizing that, oh man, this guy literally he covered it all. I'm in the club. I was in the club all this time. And so I appreciate you inviting us all into the club, bro, inviting us into your life, allowing God to just continue to work in your life, and the way you lead your family, the way you lead your kids. If you haven't checked out my man on social media, please share your social media with people, because I love watching your stories of how you guys do Bible study, and even just the conversations you have with your daughter about the fruit.
Yeah.
You standing and looking at the fruit. Hey, he was on it. I loved it.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, thank you. So Belief in Fatherhood, BELEAF, on YouTube, BELEAFMEL, or on Instagram, and Belief in Fatherhood on TikTok. Yeah, man. That's kind of where it is. I kind of cover a whole, gamut of things as far as music and literature and stories. I'm a storyteller, and I use all mediums. And so that's where I kind of solidified myself, because I thought I was an MC only and a rapper. I started telling stories, and I'm like, I can do a lot of different things. So
For
yeah, that's where
sure.
I'm at. Make sure if you guys want to get tapped in with the Daddy Stroller Social Club, you look for it. It's local chapters in your area. You do not have to be a father. You do not have to have a kid in a stroller to join. Okay, walks every
That's
month,
true.
and then every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. PST, I have a Black men's group, just a meeting on Zoom. So you guys can tap in with that if you join my email list, and also on Instagram. It's a link on Instagram, my bio. But yeah, man, thank you, Robert, for having me on. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, no, bro, it's been a pleasure. And I thank you for coming today, man. I thank you for sharing your stories, and just also putting them into a book, man, where we can get them all, man. It's been a blessing, man. And I thank everybody for joining us. I thank you all for coming and sitting with us, man. Just really, continuing to see what God's doing in our lives, and just allowing us to be able to show up as humans, even if this is the first time that my brother gets to lean for a second, just to just be human, and just show you what it looks like when sometimes we give God the opportunity to just say, God, use it.
Yeah.
Use it. Even though it's not perfect, use it. Use it. Allow it to be something that will encourage and uplift another brother. So we thank you all. We love you. And we will catch you on the next episode. Be blessed. See y'all soon.
Peace.
Hey, and that wraps up another episode of God's Glory and Men's Real Stories. I'm Justin Moore. If today's conversation meant something to you, make sure you subscribe, leave a review, or share with someone who needs it. You can find past episodes, connect with us, and check out our merch at godsgloryandmensrealstories.com. Thanks for our sponsors for making this possible. Until next time, let's keep giving God the glory in every part of our story.